All right. We should have audio now. So, we're going to get some of our labs started. I'm going to work on 12:01 a.m. Today, you guys are going to start this. So, our goal is to get to our Hyper-V Say What labs. You need it, go get it. But first, we're going to have to actually build our lab. All the labs in our previous playlist right here are actually doing them with VMware and doing them on Windows. And we're not doing that. We are using our brand new Ubuntu Studio. So we're going to be using this, and we're also going to be using our new virtual machine setup here. So let me delete this old one right here. Get that one. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Get rid of all that. You don't need to know that. Yeah, goodbye. We don't need you. All right. It's gone now. So using KVM, which is built into the kernel. So that's kind of cool. So let's start building our lab. So what we will be doing is, again, we're going to be using this, our virtual machine with KVM. You should already have these icons on the top of your screen. You won't have these ones. This is what I'm using to record this. This is OBS. And it's actually built into the system that I've built for all you guys. So you guys all have OBS ready to go if you want to practice streaming later. So, oh, that's not what I wanted to click on. I wanted to minimize it. I didn't want to kill it. All right, cool. So, we will be doing Hyper-V Say What. This is going to be where we adjust some stuff in Hyper-V, but first we need to build our lab. So let's get our lab going. So we're going to need the Server 2022 evaluation. We're just going to do a new tab up here. And I'm just going to do the quick simple search, Server 2022. You can see right here, I already kind of have it, Server 2022 evaluation. And we're just going to the same place where we got our Microsoft Evaluation Center for when we did our Windows 11 stuff. So we're going to come over here, try Server 2022. And you don't actually have to type the real stuff in here. Now, we could do the ISO, but a nice little sneaky thing is we can just download this VHD right here, our virtual hard disk, and it'll be ready to go and already installed. So I'm just going to hit continue on there. I've already kind of pre-clicked some stuff in here because it doesn't matter what we type in here. We don't need to give them anything for free. It doesn't really matter. So noway.com, phone number, good old 555 numbers. They know how to reach the people in the movies. And then we'll use the United States, because this one has to be correct. Then, sure, you can send email there to know@way.com. I'm cool with that. So this is going to download it right now. When it's done, it should be in our downloads folder. Dolphin is our file browser. Some of this might look familiar. It's set up almost exactly like Windows is right here. So you can always go right here, and Dolphin is right here. So, and if that doesn't do it, much like Windows, we can just go right here and type DOL, and it's right there, Dolphin. And it downloads right there, activate running window. That's just says, hey, this is already running right now. So we'll give this about 3 minutes to download. So I will minimize that and get out of that right there. So our goal is we're going to try to get as far today through all these as possible. Going to minimize this for now. So we're using our Vert Manager. You guys might remember this. This is the same thing we were using when we were using Proxmox. So if you came up here, if this wasn't up here, you can just type VIR, and you see Virtual Machine Manager is what's on here. That's also been pre-cooked in your system. We pre-installed all this stuff for you. And when that is done downloading, we're just going to hit this right here. And it should come up with, hey, create a new virtual machine, step 1 of 5. So we have options, local install media, ISO image, or CD-ROM. A network install, HTTP, HTTPS, or FTP. Import an existing disk image, or a manual install. We're actually going to do this one right here. It's going to save us so much time. So I'm going to hit forward while I'm still waiting for that to download. It's probably not done yet. We can check. Of course it's not. We got about 1 minute left. 1 minute. About there. Trying to get a water open so I get something to drink. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Now it seems to take a little bit when it's done. We'll see what it does. It's going to verify that document. So it's blinky, 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 blinky. I think we're good. So we are going to start doing this. I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to go browse. Now, something I might want to do is let me move that folder. So I notice sometimes when we restart, it actually deletes the folders we downloaded, and I kind of don't want that. So let me go. Actually, it looks like it has not verified it. Let me close that for a second. Show in folder. All right, maybe I did find it. All right, so I'm just going to take this. I'm going to move this to my documents. Move it here. So remember, that's in my documents. I'm going to minimize this. We don't need this right now. So you have different pools. This pool, I'm going to tell it, right now it's looking in documents. I'm going to change it to browse local. There we go. So you'll see it's all right there. VHD, 10.2 gig, it's ready to go. I'm going to hit open. Now on the bottom here it says choose the operating system you're installing. This is the cool part. If I just start typing Microsoft, or let me just do server, it's easier. Server, we're going to say 2022. Look at that. Microsoft Windows Server 2022. I'm just going to click on that. And I'm going to say, hey, cool, forward. And now default is going to pick it. This is really all it needs. But we have like 32, and we're building this system so that we can put virtual machines in the virtual machine. So we're going to have a bunch inside here. So I'm just going to give this 30,000. Just straight up 30,000 is what I'm going to give it. So I'm just going to come here. Don't forget your num lock. And I'm just going to do 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So you can see right here, 3, 2, 0, 2, 3, 2. It's going to leave some for the host. We don't need a whole lot for... actually, since I'm recording on this, let me give this 25. So it has some time so it can record. CPUs, we have 16 available. I'm going to give mine 10 for now. And 4. We can always adjust that later. Again, I'm recording on the same computer that I'm building this on. So don't be afraid to give it more on yours. We can always pull it back. So it says ready to begin. Windows 2K 2022, Microsoft Windows Server 2022, import existing operating system. We're going to give it 25, roughly 25 gig, and storage is going to be that. We can do customized installation before, but I think let's just take a look at it. Let's go finish. All right, so OS information, Windows Server 2022, CPU 10, and it's copy and host CPU configuration. That might be important if yours isn't working. If when you go to boot off of this and it goes like blue screens on you, you'll need to restart your computer, go into the BIOS, hold escape, and go into system configuration or something similar, computer configuration, and you're going to go to security and turn on all the virtualization features of the processor. Memory. So it says current allocation 2500, maximum allocation 25. So this is kind of, we remember our minimum and maximum when we were doing Hyper-V. Think of that as these right here. We can do smaller, we can do less, we can do more. Here we can pick our boot order. Right now we're just going to boot off that. We can boot off of our NIC. We have the one disk that we're mounting. It looks like it's 40 gig. And I don't see where we can adjust it right here, so we'll have to see. We're probably just going to add another hard drive to do our virtual machines inside our virtual machine for our nested virtualization. Our NIC card actually has NAT, so that means it's on its own private network. It's kind of pretty much this is acting like this is a router here. It's keeping it separated from our network, so we can't mess it up. So that is fun. tablet, display Spice. So we will be using Spice, so we'll be getting that all ready. So everything else looks good. Looks like we can redirect USB ports into here. So hey, I'm cool with it. So let me go up to CPU. I don't really need to change something. I'm just gonna hit apply. And the virtual machine is now being created. And it's already booting into Windows. How you like that? So I will full screen this. We can go view and we can say full screen. So we are going to have to put our Spice tools in here, kind of like we did when we built our machine on Proxmox. This is actually the same virtualization software that Proxmox uses to do the virtual machines. This is just the version of it, KVM, that allows pretty much all versions of Debian and that to let you access it through the kernel. So this is going pretty fast so far. Let's see if I can keep my whistle wet so that I can keep talking without coughing. Or else turn on your virus scans because I'm going to give you COVID right through your computer screen. So when we put our Spice tools for the client, it'll allow us to resize the screen and change the resolution and everything. Right now we're probably going to be in a boxy state and we won't be able to actually change the size of our virtual machine. But I think this is cool. We just downloaded a virtual hard disk that was ready to go, kind of like the parent image we created, and we're building on top of that. So now I moved that out of the downloads folder because when we were practicing this earlier, sometimes when we restarted computers, it deleted that file out of the downloads, and that wasn't good. So here we go. We're on the very first out-of-box experience for installing a server. It's very similar to what we did with Windows 11. Same thing. Who, what, where are you? And how are you going to talk to me? Join your Space Force here as usual. They're nice little space blue. And administrator, just do what we always do. We're just going to do the server 123 at exclamation point. This way, if we forget it later, I can hop on and help. So again, server 123 at exclamation point. Just keep using that, and don't use that in real life. Just use it for our practice purposes to get into our labs. And I'm in. Now, what's cool about this is we can do Control-Alt-Delete. No issues. Type in my password. And I am in. Again, we're using this server that we're going to be building our labs inside of this one. So, because we need to learn how to use Hyper-V. None of our certifications are going to be on using KVM, even though you're probably going to fall in love with it compared to Hyper-V. Click yes on that. You actually have your own network in here, so you're not on that network out here, but you should still have internet. You can see down here we have internet. You can also cut and paste from your host computer, your Linux computer, into your virtual machine in here, which is really cool. So I'm going to close all this really quick. So first thing, I'm going to go get my Spice tools because I don't want to start going through some checklist stuff till that. So I'm going to minimize that really quick, and I'm just going to open up my browser here. And just like before, we're just going to type Spice tools. And we'll see what pops up in here. Hi. There we go. Get started, and then middle finger right there. I don't care. Spice. Client. Not silent. It's using Bean too. We might get hurt by Bean. There it is. That's spice-spice.org downloads. We're going to go down to we want right here. Windows binaries, Spice guest tools. That's downloading right there. So pretty much I'm done with this window right now. I'm going to close that. That was all I needed to do is get, oh crap. It was already downloaded, but I just want to show you guys. It's right there. So it's downloaded. So without that, if I right click here and I go to display settings, I'm not going to be able to change my display resolution. That's why we're doing this. See right here, I'm kind of, oh, it's making me a liar. 1920 by 1080, is it going to work? Okay, well, it's trying to make me a liar. But I'm going to say keep changes. Maybe it already installed it. Either way, earlier when I did this, it wouldn't let me do that. But hey, I'm going to close that really quick because it did let me resize it. Yours may not. So again, we're going to do it anyway. It made me a liar. That's okay. We're going to open up these Spice guest tools. I'm going to run it as administrator. If you guys remember when you were doing this stuff on Azure, if you broke your connection or restarted, it kept kicking you out every freaking time. Well, we're not going to get kicked out of this. This is a much better connection than Hyper-V does. Now, we are going to be using Hyper-V, but hey. I wish it was 10:17 a.m. We'll fix that next. There we go. Yeah, it did something. It definitely did something there. Maybe it was able to pull the Spice tools on its own this time. Or maybe they were already in that virtual hard disk. Either way, I'll take it. Finished. Cool. I'm going to close that. Let's see if I can put it back. Watch it be broken now. Like it says, no. And we're good. I want 1920 by 1080. And I'm going to restart it because we made some changes. So I'm just going to restart it really quick. Now, servers always ask you because you're not supposed to turn servers off. You're not supposed to restart them. The server, once it's on, should always be on. So it says, why are you doing this? I need to document it. It's planned. I'm not going to document it. Just do it. There we go. Breaking in, breaking in. Okay, it's going to automatically bring up the server manager. And we're going to set up everything from right here. So there's a one that we go through checklist to IT by. This is the spot where I would do that. First, I would check and make sure, hey, am I activated? I can tell by over here that it says, hey, license valid for 180 days. So I know my eval is activated right here. My time is wrong. That's what next time is my time right. It is not right. So I'm going to click on the number 1 there, and it's going to make this full screen. So I like to start from right and work my way up to left. So product ID is where it's going to say if I'm activated also right here. So it's going to say that it is activated. I mean, we have the trial, so it looks like it's good. Don't worry about these events. That's just when you turn it on and turn it off, there's going to be all kinds of warning messages here. So this needs to be right. The first thing is our time zone. We need to fix our time zone. Click in there, go change time zone, just like we would do it on Windows 11. Change that from Pacific to Central, or wherever you are located. I'm going to hit OK, and now my time is correct right there. It will not automatically update right here, so you will have to hit refresh, and then it'll update it. This IE Enhanced Security Configuration, this is really useless because we're not using Internet Explorer anymore. We're using Edge, and that does not affect Edge. Now, if we were using Internet Explorer, let's see if it gives it to me. IE, it should have some legacy in here. Yeah, right here. So if I open this up, there's going to be a million freaking messages pop up, right? I'll say ask me later. I can say AOL.com. We'll go really old school since this is old school. Say okay. And now I'm going to have all these warning messages, right? I'm going to say close, close. It's going to do stuff. And I won't be able to download anything from here either. See how slow it's running? If you're having issues with that and you are using that, you would turn this off for admin and then turn it back on when you're done. This is just to prevent stuff in the background from trying to pop up, and it's just one security measure. So we'll move up. We don't need to worry about feedback and diagnostics. We don't need to worry about real-time protection. Antivirus, it's on. That's good. Typically, we want to turn off updates so that this doesn't break our machine and stuff. So the way we would do that is we'd come up here into download updates. We can click in here. And first thing we would do is we would go down and we're going to pause it. So we would go to advanced options and pause updates. So now they're telling you to pick hard dates to pause it. So usually you used to be able to just pick days, but we're just going to do that really quick. And then we're going to go back. And the other one that we want to do is we want to actually turn this so that we have a metered connection turned on. We will do that from our Ethernet. So right now it's not going to pull updates for me. I can hit refresh on this. Now let's see if we can cheat our IPv4. We're going to try to cheat through our IPv4 here. So this is our Ethernet. That's not going to actually let me cheat where I want to. So let's see over here. Go to network status. I'm going to click on Ethernet right here. Now, looking here, it looks like these are your only options, right? Well, these aren't. If you click right here, there's actually options here. Here's where you can actually change from public to private. And see this metered connection? If you have a limited data plan and want more control over data usage, make this connection a metered network. Some apps might work differently to reduce data usage. This will stop it from pulling updates. If we turn that on, sorry, and we tell when the updates, hey, you cannot pull updates on a metered connection, this will help us prevent updates from pretty much wasting our whole day in class. So in the practice, we'd want to, right now, we'd want to do all full updates. We'd want to just pause everything and let things go. So usually before you deploy servers, we want all full updates before we start setting stuff up. But in our case, we don't want, time is our value. We don't want to lose our time. So I'm going to leave that. Sorry guys, I'm still coughing here. So I'm going to hit refresh here. I don't need to make any changes to this. I typically want to turn my remote desktop stuff on. So I'll just hit allowed here. And we'll also do this in our Hyper-V. I'm going to hit OK. We also want to make remote management. Sometimes it says enabled, but sometimes it's not. So always check it. Click on it and see if that box is checked. If it is, then you're good to go. Sometimes it's not, even though it says it is here. I just know from experience on that. And then our last but not least, we're going to name our computer. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go to change. This looks exactly like when we went and did it on Windows 11. I'm going to change this. Since I'm the instructor, I'll just do this AM for AM class. Or if you're PM class, you're going to put PM here. Dash my initials, SLS. That way when you're looking at stuff in your Hyper-V and you're doing your screenshots, that's what it says at the top. So I know that you're actually turning in your screenshots. So I'm going to hit OK, and it's going to say, hey, you need to restart your computer. I'm cool with that. I'm going to say OK, close, and I'm going to say restart now. Every time you make a change to the system, it is best to restart your computer, even if it doesn't ask you to restart it. Restart it anyways. Since we're not doing this in Azure and we're not doing this with a million people on the same server, this should be fairly fast. So I'm afraid of wasting time on this. Cool. Now we're back in. So we're activated. We've stopped our updates. We've made sure we've renamed our computer. We installed Spice tools so that we can actually rearrange and have a better, clearer, faster moving machine inside of this virtual environment. It'll also enable us to put USBs and attach USBs into the system. So let me close that. You see how this keeps on trying to make you use Windows Administration Center? Well, I hate that center, and you can't do half the stuff you can do in Server Manager. So we'll worry about that later. I'm going to kill that and go up to number 1. And let's just make sure. So it says AMSLS. It's just a work group. It's not a member of any domains. All my goodies should be turned on right here. I should be activated. Central. I think I am definitely good to go. So from here, I'm going to install my Hyper-V. So we're going to use our manage up here, and we're going to add roles and features. I'm just going to say skip this page by default. This just tells you what adds roles and features wizard is used for. Feel free to read that. You should know by now if you've done uCertify. Role-based and feature-based installation, that's what we are doing. And I am the only computer on here. And hey, here's my DHCP IP address. So we are good to go. Does anybody know what class that is? See if you know what it is. See if you don't. So Hyper-V, click this, and if everything goes well, I should have a checkbox there. That means that, hey, I can do nested virtualization if it doesn't get mad at me. It's checking right now. Haha, success. I'm going to say next. I don't need any features. I already picked the features I'm going to need. And then I was going to talk about Hyper-V and everything that it can do. It does a little bit more than what it could on Windows 11. Our virtual switch, this is where I'm going to pick, hey, yes, I want to use this for internet. So my default switch is going to use this card for internet. So we should be good to go. We don't need to worry about any of those. We don't need to allow this server to sit and receive live migrations of virtual machines because we're not connecting to any other servers. This is your only machine. And if your computer dies, well, guess what? You lost everything. So I'm going to hit next. This is where it default stores stuff. We should be familiar with this right here. The public documents Hyper-V virtual hard disks users. It's the exact same place that the Windows 11 did it. We're going to hit next and restart if needed. It is going to need the restart because it's Hyper-V and it's actually turning on. Now, when we did this on Windows 10, this was actually a turn Windows features on or off. Think of it as that as we just turn the role on. So we're going to hit yes and install. So it's doing the Hyper-V management tools, the modules for PowerShell, and the GUI management tools. These are actual features that it's installing so we can actually manage the service that installs on here. So we're going to need to get something on here to actually install in Hyper-V. And if you guys remember, in Windows 11, we made a parent image. Guess what we're going to do again? We're going to rock that parent image as soon as we get to restart this. While we're waiting on that, I go to the top of my screen. I'm going to just do this so I can get out of my virtual machine. And I'm just going to drag this a little bit. Now, you can just snap these on corners if you want. And then I'm going to come over here. So our first one's going to be Hyper-V say what? You need it, go get it. Checklist to IT buy. So I think we should probably put that one in front of this. Because we know we need the ISO, right? So let me click on this. It says you need it, go get it. Well, we just kind of just went there to get that virtual hard disk, right? So in this case, there's an example here. See, Windows Server Administration Fundamentals, Sean Spangler, the old date from previously when we did this, and heck, on my notes, I even put where to get it. So if you guys can't remember where to get your stuff, just go right there. Now we're going to get the 2022 just because it's going to be fun. But this time, what I want you guys to do is I want you to fill out your real information, all right? You don't have to actually submit that to them, but I want to see your real first name, last name, and all that right there in your screenshot. And that's the only thing that you're going to need in there. So that's getting it. And then over here is actually showing, hey, I downloaded it, and here's what it is. So we'll get there. Let's get back to our machine. It's already restarted. Control-Alt-Delete. Back in there. So at this point, I should have Hyper-V installed on there, a Hyper-V server. So this Nightlight Writer, usually I have to wait for it to finish. It seems to be loading really fast. So I'm going to click on Tools here, and I see Hyper-V Manager. It looks like it's trying to do some wipe up over here, but it's already done. It's just acting goofy on me, see? So I'll give that a second. Now, in your uCertify, it makes you come over here and go through Administrative Tools, Windows Administrative Tools right here. But these tools are the exact same tools that are right here. Here comes the tools. Here it comes. So see these tools right here? They're the same tools that are right here. So I like to just go through here because it always opens up. I'm going through Hyper-V Manager this direction. You can also go this way and type HY, and your Hyper-V is going to pop up. You could even just right-click it and say, hey, pin that to my start or pin it to the taskbar. Now it's going to be pinned there so I can get to it easy later. And I should see my computer name right there. And nothing else is right here. So in order for us to install, we need something to install off of. So we need it. Let's go get it. So I'll minimize that. I'm going to close that one. And I'll close that one too. So I'm going to use my Edge. And I'm going to go in there and I'm going to go get what I need. All right. I can't type. There we go. Don't forget the eval in there. Evaluation. It's going to take us to the evaluation center. We're doing 2022. We're not doing 2019. So pay attention to the video. Now, something cool. I'm going to show you this. If I wanted to, I could minimize this, right?